Well, you know how I was like, well, if you thought you were going to get an apology from ZavGirl, blah, 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 in my last video. Well, if you thought you were going to get an apology from Natasha Cooper, boy, were you wrong. In fact, she victim blames, and she targets the family and the DA for not being smart enough to seal the autopsy photos. Listen for yourself.
If the family and the prosecution did not want these photos available to the public through a FOIA request, then they should have had the records sealed.
She is sorry for a few things. Here you go.
There is something, though, that I am sorry for. And what I'm sorry for is how I wrote out the coverage that I was going to do. Because I can see how in what I wrote, it does sound, if you don't know me, how it does sound like I could be selling photographs. And that could not be further from the case.
Sure, Jan.
An hour and a half that she was babbling on about how right and entitled she was to do this. She failed to apologize to the family for re-traumatizing them, knowing that the family has condemned both ZavGirl and Natasha Cooper and any other creator that's engaged in this despicable practice. And I hate to tell you guys, but when something is behind a paywall and the only criteria to get access to that, so maybe you're not selling photos, but what you are doing is selling access to them, okay? And it's basically the same thing. So if I have to give you money in order to view these things in your content, then it is behind a paywall and you are selling access. I know it's hard. It's so hard to think about the common sense behind all of it. I know that. And I know that you want to come, listen, if you're a Natasha Cooper stan, if you're a ZavGirl stan, pause right here real quick. Now you're going to want to leave a comment, because you're going to think that comment is going to do something. It's going to prove a point. It's going to be like, haha, gotcha. And I'm just here to break the news now. You can still waste your time. Flex those little fingers on the keyboard. Go for it. Do it. Use your thumbs, your fingers, whatever. It is a waste of time. And, you know, I'm going to read it. It'll be fun. I'll get a chuckle from it, because I'm always amazed that people like that exist in this world. So strange. Okay, well, anyways, enjoy these clips because they'll infuriate you like they did me. And I truly was waiting. For the aha, I'm sorry moment. It never came. However, I have been wrong before. It's happened a time or two. So if she did apologize to the family, feel free to timestamp it, and I'm happy to give that acknowledgement. Also, the whole 50 channel bans. Has anybody done a deep dive into this chick yet? Because this is crazy to me. Seeing all this stuff online, and it's insane to me. Allegedly 50 plus bans on YouTube, and she continues to make channels. She even admitted it into one of these clips. So I'm just like, how is this happening? How is she still making YouTube channels when she's received a lifetime ban? It's strange. Oh, and she's blaming one person for this happening. And then allegedly I saw, and it was on Reddit, so, you know, that whole thing. I saw where there was this, and I'll post a little screenshot of the Reddit queue in here, but allegedly ZavGirl's the one who paid for the FOIA request, and she received it. And then in some type of Facebook group, this information was uploaded into a Dropbox, and then one of Natasha's stans went in there and told her and was like, hey, by the way, they have Gannon's photos, and they sent her the link for Dropbox and stuff. So it's really convoluted. It doesn't appear that she paid for them. I'm happy to be proven wrong again. Produce the evidence. Actually produce the FOIA request. I'd love to see what was submitted for that, to get all of that information. Because here's the thing, if you submitted the FOIA request to get the full file, okay, I get it. And I get that autopsy photos will probably be a part of that. But making the conscious decision to go, I'm going to post these photos and put them behind a paywall and charge my subscribers to go and see that. Very strange. And I feel like Natasha's gotten out of this a little bit more unscathed than ZavGirl. It's probably because ZavGirl has a larger platform, so the attention's drawn to the biggest platform, obviously. But just some simple Googling on Natasha and the things that have happened, and even like some of the videos I've seen were like using the N-word, the one ending in O, not in the ER or hard ER or A or whatever. But like, yeah, just some really inappropriate stuff. And I don't care to do a deep dive on this person. Trust me, I've seen enough. And probably after this video, I'll be done, because I hope that the family takes punitive action. I hope they sue both of these creators and every other creator who has done the same thing for emotional distress and any type of punitive damages. I hope to God that happens. There's no, like, I've never wished litigation on anybody because it seems to suck, right? But I hope to God this family does. I hope this family sues these creators for emotional distress, for any type of damages, and just takes them down. And then I'd love to see them continue to say they were justified in their actions. They deserved to do this. They had the right to do this. It was public information. But some people have a little thing called morals. I know it's difficult. Again, you guys, I know it's hard. But if you're going to sit here and say, like, she's educating people, she's doing X, Y, Z, she's saving children, like she said she was going to save a child by producing this information, literally was like, if one child can be saved from this, then that's good enough for me. And I'm like, what child is going to be saved from this? And leaning on the Colorado governor going like, public knowledge is power. Yes, public knowledge is power, but they're not saying like plaster the autopsy photos at the fucking bus stop. Come on.
I am not sorry that I did the lives, because that is what I do. I chose to do it on Patreon because I knew that if I did it on YouTube, it would be reported and it would be taken down, because it's happened to me with other cases, the Dyatlov case in particular. That is how I lost my big channel that I had that had 30,000 subs, because the Dyatlov autopsy photos were reported as sexual content and nudity. And no, Christina, I'm not selling photos if it's behind a paywall. And you're a dumbass if that is your mentality. And anybody who takes offense to that, I don't care.
You can have whatever opinion you want, but the only right side of this is how Gannon's family feels. Not only was he heinously taken from this world, but then his memory was just smeared across the internet for vile human beings to use for profit, for those people that support them to then go and utilize it, put it on 4chan, put it on other platforms that are not as regulated. It's disgusting. And I think I can just leave you with these words from his father.
Just awful.
The word I use to describe it is evil, Brian. In my opinion, it's just evil. Like the world got enough information from the trial to have every discussion they want to have. Why do we need to go have a freedom of information request and pay for this kind of information and then dishonor my son by putting these photos out there like that? I mean, the world got to see it. I don't know how well you followed it, but the only day I chose not to come to the trial was the day that they showed the autopsy photos. Now I feel like I can't even go on YouTube without the possibility of accidentally coming across these photos.